Amazon backs marijuana legalization, drops weed testing for some jobs. This is a Fox Business story. Amazon said on Tuesday it supports a proposed U.S. legislation to legalize cannabis at the federal level and would drop weed testing requirements for some recruitments. Amazon will also no longer screen as job applicants for marijuana use for any position non-regulated by the Department of Transportation. Amazon's consumer boss, Dave Clark, said, while many U.S. states have legalized marijuana use, employers have so far largely refused to work with the industry as cannabis is still classified substance at the federal level. Amazon was hit with a proposed class action lawsuit which claimed that the company was violating a New York City law by testing applicants for jobs at local facilities for marijuana. The company does not allow marijuana sales on its platform. I think yet, but I think it will very soon. Tom.
You know, this clearly speaks of one thing. Bezos and Lauren Sanchez are throwing some ragers, and he's getting high, and it's a bad look for the company if he's not pro-marijuana. I mean, come on, we got this figured out.
That's why I got divorced, Tom. That's why I got divorced.
You know, they have north of 1 million employees. You think they're going to be able to continue to grow if they're going to ban everybody that smoked pot? Give me a break. I mean, that's going to slow down their growth, so they had to do that. And plus, we all know they're gearing up for the pharmaceutical. They're going to. I think what they do in pharmaceuticals is going to dwarf what they do with Amazon Prime Video. I mean, this is just ripe for them to destroy. Clearly, there's a market in CBD. They're going to be doing that. And they're all in on getting it legalized federally. And if Amazon is behind it, it's getting done. They didn't want a union in Alabama. It didn't happen. What they want, they get done over. They're going to be selling it within a year.
I think
selling it within a year.
Some version of it. Something. We're going to see some real legitimacy with the pharmaceuticals.
There's CBD already on Amazon. Absolutely. I think, look, again, what pisses me off, and I got to be honest, it really does tick me off, is we are going to be able to buy weed that's delivered to you via a drone before we let people out of prison who are in jail for selling a leaf. And that bothers me to no end. It bothers me to no end that Kamala Harris in particular has put, I think, Pat, you told me it was 1,400 people in jail for minor marijuana offenses, and she has the balls to own stock in marijuana companies. Can you imagine the balls on this woman to put people in jail for weed and then be a part owner in a weed company? So look, this is a free market thing. I love it. I think you should be able to buy weed. I think you should be able to buy mushrooms. I think you should be able to buy LSD. Whatever you want, whatever a consenting adult wants to do in their free time, they should be allowed to do it. And you know what? If I can have a drone deliver it to me, even better. Even better, man. Deliver me my Cheetos, my weed, straight into my room. I don't need to leave. I'm a happy camper, okay? But I cannot live in a society where my fat ass can be sitting on a couch eating Cheetos and smoking a bowl while somebody is in jail for 30 years for trying to provide me with that happiness. It's nonsensical that we are still doing this. Let these people out of jail tomorrow. Let them out of jail today. If Amazon is able to sell weed and you have people in jail for selling weed, we have a morally corrupt society. I'm sorry. That to me is one of these things. It's just it's a wrong that we have to right.
Be nice if they could.
Yeah, I did this last time I was on too. I left the room with an awkward silence. I'm sorry. Let me tell a joke.
Do you know
quick.
Anybody in prison for selling weed?
I do.
Okay.
Or I would say I know people that went to prison for selling weed, and it irrevocably changed their life for the worse. We don't, and that's the other thing about not to get on
big volume of weed.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but weed is also other things, right? Like, I mean, you do weed, you do this, you do that, like, you know, whatever. I mean, when they were rehabilitated, they were never anything but an ex-felon either. So it irrevocably changed their life for the worst. And again, we're looking at it now that this is like a Fortune 5 company is selling this stuff, you know, but you know, Tom from the Jersey Shore goes to jail. And then you have now even more, if you want to talk about a real guy, Russ Ulbricht. Russ Ulbricht is going to spend the rest of his life in jail for having the Silk Road, which essentially was the dark web Amazon for drugs. And now Amazon's going to sell drugs. So, again, we have a morally corrupt society. I
think they're going to open up pharmacies inside Whole Foods, too.
I think they should. Look, you're consenting adults. And also, the whole idea of you have to drug test your employees, it says more about your management that they can't tell when their employees are messed up, that they have to go drug test. Yeah. I remember being in the minor leagues, man. And weed was illegal. But we could take as many Percocets as we want. Like Toradol was fine. We could get a shot in our arm that made our body go numb, and then you'd go play. And now guys would play, and pitchers specifically, they would turn their bodies into chemistry sets that once every 5 days they can go out and throw 95 miles an hour, tear everything in their arm. They wouldn't be able to wash their hair after the game. It would take them 3 days to lift their arm up, pop a couple perks, and get back out there and do it again. Now, you do that for 5 or 6 years, and then the team decides they don't want you anymore. Hey, thanks for your service, bud, and they cut you. And now you got to go be a gym teacher somewhere or a gas station attendant, and you don't get to tell your body, hey, I don't need 30 perks this week. And now they're addicted to painkillers, and the next thing you know, this is who their life is. Now, I'm not saying that weed is great and people should. I don't even smoke weed, to be honest with you. I'm joking. I don't even smoke weed. I don't like who I am on weed. I don't need anything to help me be fat, lazy, and hungry. I got that covered, okay? So that I'm good at. Came naturally. This came with the G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip with that. All right? Yeah,
that's gift, man. You know,
but
shake what your mama gave you.
But I'll tell you what. When my body was hurting and I was playing ball, you could give me some Celebrex and a Percocet and I'd be zoom, and then a perk would make me a little loopy, so I'd take an Adderall to get back on. And I never once thought I was taking drugs. I thought I was playing the game. I thought I was doing what I had to do to win. But that's a party. Yeah. I got a Celebrex, a Percocet, and an Adderall,
and those are also
partying,
way more addictive than marijuana, by the way.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And you know, the sad thing is NFL players that can't monitor or regulate their pain.
Imagine that.
know, with marijuana, which would help them.
And you know what we did? We drank ourselves to sleep. Mm-hmm. So all I'm saying is that this is an antiquated model. It's an antiquated model. A lot of it comes from robber barons who owned certain industries and use lobbying to not have those industries be competed against, both alcohol and, believe it or not, timber. There was a big reason that marijuana was illegal in the first place is, I don't want to get this wrong, but I believe it was Rockefeller owned millions of acres of wood, and hemp actually was a better source for pulp for paper, and he wanted hemp illegal so that they had to use his wood for paper in every school in America instead of the hemp pulp. Now, somebody has to look that up, you know, but yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one time I sat down with Oscar Goodman. I don't know if you know Oscar Goodman.
Mayor
is from Mayor of Vegas.
Yeah. That was a
great
three-time
Mayor of Vegas, and then his wife's now been the 2-time Mayor of Vegas. So for the last 20 years, the Goodmans have been running Vegas.
Reminds me of Better Call Saul.
And he was in a movie Casino. He was in a movie Casino representing, when the whole thing was taking place, Sharon Stone, all those guys were at his house. They were putting parties together. And he told me, he said, I said, so what do you think about drugs? He says, anybody wants to use it, use it. How about prostitution? Do it. It's your body. How about this? How about stealing? Nope. If you're going to steal from me, we should cut your thumb off. I said, cut your thumb off. He says, yes, because you're taking something that's mine.
Yes.
I think what is happening.
Do no harm.
What is happening naturally, libertarian philosophies are creating so much momentum.
Hey.
Naturally. The only challenge is.
Freedom wins.
The only challenge is there's never been a libertarian candidate worth promoting that knows how to inspire and convert mindset. It's such a simple, logical concept to sell to people. They've not had a good crusader yet, and hopefully they'll find somebody that'll be able to do it. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.